Good morning. It's Thursday, March the 12th, and this is The Drill. Thank you very much. I'm Ron, your host and the only true conservative in the United States today. I created this podcast to answer the question most asked by conservatives, namely, what can I do? My podcast is short, approximately 5 to 10 minutes long, because shorter podcasts are easier to download and listen to, and shorter podcasts force me to get to the point. I've been listening to conservative talk radio since '89, and I've grown up in a socialist household and seen the destructive effects of socialism up close and personal. My podcast is made available through Spreaker and can be heard on iTunes, Spotify, Google, and YouTube. Today, what can I do? Tweet of the day, Mark Steyn gets it wrong, and Glenn Beck gets it right. All that when I come back. Thank you. What can I do? Refuse to let the left define you. Refuse to be an issues conservative. You're not a conservative because of where you stand on the issues. You are conservative because you are realistic. In other words, don't be defined by conclusions. Be defined by the process. If you allow yourself to be defined by the left, you can't win. Your arguments about anything will be dismissed by the left as ideologic and dogmatic. If you're trying to convince somebody that you are right, you need to be able to explain your reasoning completely. Next up, the tweet of the day. Thank you. The tweet of the day from Newt Gingrich. Quote, any effort to move Spectrum from the Defense Department to the Federal Communications Commission would be a disaster for our 5G efforts. The FCC has proven again and again that it is trapped in an obsolete model of old big company cronyism. We need a new approach. Unquote. Next up, Mark Steyn gets it wrong. Thank you. Mark Steyn was guest hosting the Rush Limbaugh show last week and whined and complained about the behavior of Senator Chuck Schumer instead of judging the behavior of Senator Chuck Schumer. Senator Schumer threatened 2 Supreme Court justices last week. The senator thinks that he can influence the court's decisions about various cases by simply threatening consequences. Mark Steyn made the typical right-wing mistake of complaining and whining instead of judging. What Mr. Steyn should have said is that the senator's behavior is against the law, that making threats is in violation of the assault statute. Further, Mr. Steyn should have called for Senator Schumer's immediate resignation, arrest, prosecution, and conviction for assault. This is what any true conservative should do. If one of your classmates tries to tell you how brave Senator Schumer is, tell them that he deserves to go to prison. Next up, 2 clips from Glenn Beck. Thank you very much. Glenn Beck gets it right, and here are a couple of clips to demonstrate it.
I urge you to question even mine. I'm telling you that I'm coming with no motive other than to tell you the truth as I understand it and give you perspective. But you shouldn't take my word or anybody else's word for true on any of this. You must do your own homework. You have to think these things through. Is this possible? Yes. But the most logical thing is there are no kits. There's not enough. You think you have it? I'm sorry, I can't give it to you. I think you have it. We have people waiting for the test who could get medicine right now as soon as we get a test back confirming that they have COVID-19. You're not the priority right now.
That was clip number 1, and this is clip number 2.
Can't trust you either because you have big investments with big virus. You want this to get much, much worse. I have less.
And basically, Glenn Beck was talking about the coronavirus, but he was echoing what Ayn Rand said, is that you have to listen to yourself, that you have to listen to that little voice inside your head and see whether or not the little bell is going off that tells you that something is wrong. And if it is, you have to be prepared to go ahead and find out what it is that you find that is objectionable about what is being said or what is being printed, and go from there. But trust yourself, and don't just take people's word for it, even if and maybe especially if they are credentialed, if they come across as having PhDs, master's degrees, that kind of thing. Back in a minute. Thank you very much. Who is the true conservative? He's the person that understands that conservatism is not just about politics, but culture as well. He is not selfish, but he minds his own business. He acts like an adult. He's patriotic and uses common sense. He expresses what he knows and does so with certainty. He makes judgments, refuses to speculate, speaks clearly and definitively, and is not afraid to say no. He's open-minded, asking why rather than why not. He is consistent, credible, and influential. Not ashamed of his existence, unafraid to learn or correct his mistakes, he is a normal American, and he's better than the socialist. He's a better friend, father, brother, family member, and a better person, period. You have to know that. If you don't know with every fiber of your being that being a true conservative is best, then you're wasting your time. And that brings me to the end of another episode of The Drill. Remember that the left has no authority, no power, and they can't win. Think about it.